Hi friends, in this video I'm going to explain how to develop one of the concept art called creating the shoveling and water effects and the grass in this tutorial and rocks also. On the rocks I will create the one of the Shiva Lingam. You can observe this is the interface of the Blender after opening this, and you can observe this is the one of the beginner tutorial I'm explaining for the beginners, and you can observe this is a save option here. After opening, save the file onto the desktop or anywhere. Then after you can observe the default one of the cube is there, and you want to adjust this by pressing on the G key and pressing on the X or Y or Z axis, and by pressing on the control it will coincident to the cursor onto the grid. You can observe here. First of all, I want to create one of the sphere. I am deleting this. I want to create here one of the sphere. First of all, go on to the object mode. After selecting the control shift A, I can observe the mesh, and you can observe the different types of mesh. You can observe the plane and the cube and circle. I want to create the one of the sphere here. For example, after creating the sphere, clicking on the save, and you can observe I want the half of the part I required. Then I want to pressing on the G key and the Z key and snap it to by using the control, and you can observe then after the sphere is here. You can observe go into the edit mode by selecting the object and remove the like this. You can remove by using the vertices, and you can observe here observe the vertices I am selecting and clicking on the X key and give the vertices. You can observe it will delete it. Like this, you can delete by using the shift key by pressing on the shift, select all. You can observe by using the X and give the vertices like this, select the all X and vertices like this. Off of the sphere is there, you can observe exactly, and you can observe I'm going to the object mode here. I want to create one of the cube on the top. For this, I want to adjust this G. For example, I want the cursor here by using the shift key and pressing on the right mouse button. The cursor will there. You can also do by using the edit mode here. For example, I want this, and you can observe like pressing on the shift S cursor to select it. For example, I want here, clicking on the edge. For example, I want here the cursor I want required. For example, shift S and cursor to selected. You can observe on the exactly the cursor is there. I want in the center, then only I am clicking like this, and you can observe the cursor is there on the top. Here I want to create one of the cylinder by using the shift A. Go into the mesh and give the cylinder option and scale this by using the scale S, and give the sum of the distance to Z by using the Z, and give the S key and simply give like this, and reduce the size by using the you can observe by pressing on the S and Z. You can increase or decrease the thickness size also along with the axis. Pressing on the G and Z. Here you want the exact position you want. Go into the edit mode here and pressing on the Z. You can observe the wireframe mode and clicking on the 7 or 1, 2, 3 on the numpad. You can observe you can also adjust like this by pressing on the Z and the wireframe, and go into the solid like this and go into the object mode. To S, you want to X, increase the value of the direction of the Z you want. You can also increase this by pressing on the X. You can observe as I am increasing somewhat, and I want to give the S and decreasing somewhat distance, clicking on the G and Z option like this. Then after, I want the sphere on the other side also. For this, I want to create a Shift D, for example. Simply you can also give the mirror modifier. I'm not explaining that. And you can observe I want to rotate this, for example, rotate on the direction. By using the control, you can rotate it exactly, R and the Z axis. You can observe by clicking on the Z and clicking on the X, you can rotate it same at the distance by using the control key. Without the mirror modifier also you can do this by pressing on the G and place it here. You want to adjust exact this, I already explained. Go to the wireframe mode and clicking on the save option again. After that, you can observe I am clicking on the 1, pressing on the G, and by pressing on the somewhat distance of this and clicking on the Z axis to the bottom like this, and you can observe I'm clicking on the 7 exactly. I want this center. I'm clicking on the edit mode, object mode, and go into the Z and the solid mode. You can observe this like this. You can observe, for example, you want create the fill the face here. How to create this? For example, I'm going to the object mode and I'm selecting the edge here. You can observe this is the object is selected, it is highlighting also, and select the edge by using the alt key and select the left key. The total edge will selected. For example, you select without pressing on the alt key on the edit mode. You can observe only one of the part of the edge is selected, not all of the edges are selected. You want to select this by pressing on the alt key and select this. Total of the edges on the top, it is selected. You can observe, and pressing on the F, create a face. Simply click on the F key like this. Same on the bottom, I want to create like this by pressing on the edge. By selecting on the object mode, I want to select the object and go to the edit mode here, and by using the alt and pressing on the alt key, edge is selected, pressing on simply F. It is completed. Then after, I want to create on the top. Somewhere else here I want to create again, shift and right click, and you can observe the cursor is on the top. I want to create here on the object by using the save again. In Blender, you should save the file every 10 seconds or 20 seconds, but it will disappears sometimes. And you can observe the cursor is on the top. I want to create the for example it is not there here. For example, you can also right click here and go into the edit mode and go into the object mode, shift A, and I want to give the cylinder here again. Cylinder is nothing but a cylinder. You can observe on S key and select this, and G key and Z option on the X axis. Some more distances is required. You want to increase the scale on X or Y axis. You can also increase the Z axis some of the distance like this. You can see you can also increase or decrease the values by clicking on the arrow. You can decrease the value. Go to the Z and wireframe. Once again check this, it is center or not on the all angles. To test the Z key somewhat inside, and go into the object mode and go into Z and solid mode. You can observe the solid is completed. And after, I want to create on the top edge. For example, I'm clicking on edge, selecting on the alt and I want to create a control B bevel. For this, you can observe by pressing on the scroll key, you can increase the bevel to radius like this. Object mode, you can observe this. So decrease this, also decrease, and G and Z axis this, and S and Z axis like this. You can observe it is completed. Then after, I want to create on here one of the cube, and I want to create this by going to the edit mode by selecting on the object. I want to select this object and go into the edit mode here. I want to select the edge by using the key. I want to select this edge, and I want to create a shift S and cursor to selected. The cursor is there. I want to create here one of the cube. Go into the object mode, shift A, and give the cube. And I'm giving the cube here and give the S key and increase the values of x-axis. You can see the item values dimensions here. You can also adjust here also, and you can observe that I'm giving the x-axis to some moving this, and again I'm moving to the z-axis somewhat level to this, and going to the one key and going to the G by using the z-axis, adjust to the cursor. I want to decrease the S value. Yes, decrease this somewhat, increase the y-axis, x-axis, z-axis somewhat distance, x-axis, increase this, go into the one key, G and Z x-axis, and constant this on the top like this. For this I want to create a object edit mode and go into the face, select this face and extrude the face somewhat inside like this. And I want to, for example, you want to move this somewhat, you can also move. Want to, for example, I am going to the edit mode here. I am selecting this face by pressing on the I key, intersection, and give the extrude somewhat inside. It is looking good. Then after, go to the object mode, G, and pressing on Z key. The I, select the edit mode, and select the edges. For example, I am selecting the again edge and shift. You can observe the shift. I am selecting the, for example, the control B already explained. For example, you can create the shape like this. Into the object mode, you can observe. And in the control B, you can increase the value of the roundness also, and increase like this. Go to the object mode here, and you want to face, select the face and give the eye option here. By selecting this, go into the object mode and select this by using the Ctrl A, give the scale to, and give the face and give the eye option here, and give the extrude to somewhat distance like this. And to extrude this to inside, you can also extrude this to the inside. You can create the hole by deleting this. I am not doing this, just for reference I am doing. You want to delete these faces, for example, you go into the edit mode and select the object mode and select the object, and go into the edit mode. You want to face to delete the faces. You can also delete by pressing on the X, by using the shift and select all of the faces. Already it is separated. Separate the face and X and face. Like this you can create the, I want to adjust this somewhat inside by using the Z key. You can observe. Now it is fine. Like this you can create this. I want to go into the matte properties, matte cap. You can observe the, on editing it will helpful. And go into the matte property, matte cap, and give the back face filling, cavity, and the depth of field, and you can observe the shadow effect. It is look like this. You can also go on to the rendering mode. You can observe this like this. Then after I want to give the rocks, how to create the rocks here, and after I want to create a grass in the plane here. Next you can observe. Then after I want to create a rocks here, and go into the object mode and go into the shift A, and you can observe the plane and the cube. Again I want to create a cube here. Already cursor is here. You can observe by pressing on the cube. After selecting the cube, go into the object mode only, and you can observe the add modifier, and go into the add modifier. You can observe the subdivision surface and give the levels of view somewhat 4 and the rendering to 4. And then after I want to give the you can observe the texture and the modifier. You can observe the modifier here. Again I want to give the texture here. You can observe the texture and go into the none and select the object and go into the, this is the warning, and give the add modifier and give the displace, and again go into the material property. You can observe the this texture property, give the new and give the on. You can observe like this. You can observe, and when pressing on the intensity, decrease the intensity. You can observe like this. By decreasing the size or increasing the size, you can get the rock. See, the rock is created. And go into the edit mode. You can observe it is looking good. And like this you can create by adjusting the sizes, and you do the you can observe like this different types of colors also. You can drag and drop this on the color ramp. It is not required. Like this you can create a rock. You want to increase the type of the rocks, for example shift D, I'm selecting this and go into the x-axis like this, and you want to small the rock, small of the rock you want, you can like this. You want to change the shape, similar, both are same. You want to change the shape by using the X. You can observe the X. I'm increasing the Y, S and the Y axis. It is look like a different rock like this. I'm placing the rocks like this. I want to increase the shift D. I want to place it here onto the G and X axis. To place the rock onto the bottom, for example I want how like this, for example scaling, scale the object, and the S and the X axis, S and the Y axis, G. And to place the another rock here, onto the shift D. Pressing on the, and adjust the rocks onto the bottom. And to place this rock onto this bottom, and place the rock, small rock, onto the bottom like this, and clicking on the 7 key and G, bottom, G, pressing on to the bottom, and observe it is looking good. First of all I want to create a plane onto the bottom, then the adjustment is good. For this I want to create a shift and go into the object mode, shift A, give the plane and give the S here. Give the S option here, and like this. Now it is looking good. You want to increase the rocks, you can also increase the rocks. And pressing on the Z and the white frame, and solid, some tweaking. This you can create the on the G and Z key. I want to displace this here on some of the top like this. You can also increase the rocks here. For example, I'm shift D. I want to place the rock here. And shift D, I want to place the small rock here, and G key, like this. Can create the rocks, S, and pressing on the S key, G, X rocks here, and the G. Simply I am moving the more the rocks. That's it. You can observe to the x-axis. On the x-axis you want to move the more rocks you want. You can give the more rocks on the x-axis. Pressing on the X, I'm deleting this. Like this you can create the rocks. G and the X, shift to D, X key, or you can also Y. I'm pressing on the S, it will reduce the size. Like this you can create the rocks of different size of the rocks you can create. Now after I want to create a water effect and the grass on the bottom of the plane. After you can observe the plane here and go into the object mode, go into the select the edit mode face and select the face and give the subdivide. And number of cuts I am giving 12 for example. After giving the cuts to 12, I am going to the add modifier, give the displace. After giving the displace, give the displace material to clouds, texturing properties, and go into the object mode. You can observe the displacing effect. And go into the add modifier, give the strength, reduce the strength to somewhat like this, and give the shade smooth here to smooth this. Like this you can observe. You can also decrease the strength to 0.15. This is okay. Like this you can create the effect. This is I will create with the texturing effect with water. And after I want to create the object mode here, and go into the edit mode. I want to separate the sum of the cells. You can observe the cuts like this. I want to separate the cuts. Somewhat for to create a grass effect. For this I want to create a grass effect. What to do next? I want to create the separate by using the P selection. It is separated, you can observe. And go to the object mode, you can observe the separate selection is there. Here I want to create the separate selection on the object mode. Give the hair properties. Here you can observe the hair. You can observe the by pressing on the press and the hair option. Observe the hair effect is created. You can observe. I want to increase the numbers to, for example, 50,000. See the grass effect is there, and I want to give the hair length to 0.2 meter, think about 200 mm, and the grass is looking good. And I want to increase the hair length and segments. You can also increase the hair dynamics on the hair dynamics also, and give the hair dynamics and give the advanced mode. After the giving the advanced, go to the hair ones. You can also increase the collisions, and you want to increase the distances. You can also increase the distance. You want to increase the structure. You can also increase the structure of the grass. You can observe here. We'll zoom this and increase the structure, distance, and structure. You can also give the stiffness value. See, it is in. And go into the physics. You can observe the multiply mass and Go into the hair shape and give the 1 meter diameter, increase the diameter and give the tip value. Somewhat decrease this or increase as you wish. I am giving the diameter somewhat distance. This you can see the effect is created. You can also increase the field weights. Lot of features are there. What type of grass you want, like this you can create the grass effect. Then after I want to give the texturing on the material, how to give the materials to the rocks and this top of the shielding I will explain. And you can observe it is the water and it is the grass. I will show you by the applying the materials. After I want to give the materials to this, first I will start with this and go into the save, and you can observe the material property. You can observe the material properties and give the every material to the new. You can observe I am selecting the new material here by selecting the object mode. On the object I am selecting the object and go into the base color. For example, I want to create this black, give the black color. It will not appears on this mode. For example, viewport shading, you can observe the viewport shading. You can observe the effect here on the viewport. Here also you can see the effect. I will show on the viewport shading here by selecting the black color like this. Again give the black material, give the material black material to this, selecting the material, give the material to this. Here I will show you and go into the here I want to create one of the object like this. I'm going to the shading effect. I want to select these three, edit mode, give the faces, select the faces and extrude the faces somewhat, and control B, bevel the faces. It is extruded, you can observe, and extruded this somewhat distance, not more than this, like this you can observe. By pressing on the eye intersection, eye key, for example I am intersecting this to extrude this like this. Again I am selecting these faces and I extrude this somewhat distance and select the faces and give the eye and extrude this somewhat distance like this. I am doing this, I will show you, and go into the again this mode I am selecting the separating the faces by selecting the all. I am selecting the all of the faces. So by selecting the P selection and give here, it is separated. You can observe I am going to the object mode here. This is the one of the separate object, and give the what is the created black. You can observe this is why it is separated, and you can observe I am selecting the edit mode. Go to the object mode and give the base color to white. You can give the white color to this and give the black color, new material to this, and give the new material to this. And you can observe and go into the mode here. I want to give the all of them to shade smooth, for example smooth object, and go into the again the material property. It look nice. After the smooth effect, it is looking realistic. You can observe shaded smooth. Then after I want to create the rocks material and give the new material here. I am creating the blue color to this and select the all of the material same as like that. Simply I am explaining this. As you can observe, you can create the effects. To some distance here also, and you can observe. And after I want to create the plane what I separated, give the new material to this, give the base color somewhat blue color, and give the metallic to 1.0 and give the roughness value, decrease the roughness. You can observe the water effect here. You can observe it is look like a same as water, and give the principal BSDF to glass, and principal BSDF to glossy, and give the color to same as what I like this. You can create the water effect also by adjusting the decreasing the size. You can observe the effect also here. By pressing on the color, reduce the color somewhat blue. It is looking nice. Then after I want to create the new material to this by pressing on the new and give the color to green to give the grass effect, and see it is looking good. Want to increase the grass properties, go into the grass property and give the hair length to 0.4. It is increase it to 0.4. You can observe this. Then after adjust the all of the properties is completed. It is looking nice. Then after I want to adjust the light here, pressing on the G and the Z and the X key, pressing on the 7, pressing on the G and the X. You can observe I am selecting the top, on top of the ceiling. It is the light is missing. After I want to create a one of the shift A, by pressing on the light, you can observe the source light, sunlight here, and you can observe the after giving the sunlight, it is more shiny. And then after I want to the eraser going like this. I want to shift this, for example G. The position of Shiva is here. I want to adjust this light and give the light effect to here. The sunlight is coming like this. It is coming like this. It is looking good like this. The grass is also good. Here the shadows there you can observe. Here the shadows, you can observe the shadows also. And after render this object by using the light is created, the sunlight is created, that is enough. It is looking good. Pressing on the 7 key on the top, you can observe. And pressing on the camera and press the 0 key, you can observe the rendering. By pressing on the object mode and pressing on the again 0, I want to place this camera onto the G and the X. On the y-axis I want to rotate this like this. Again I want to rotate like this. So on the 0 key I want to see this on the G or z-axis. So on the 0 you can observe the camera effect. I want to increase the scale of this S, increase the scale, and R adjust to straight, give the G axis. And you want to adjust this by pressing on the G. You can adjust this like this. You want to increase somewhat distance by pressing on the 0. You want to increase the scale of the camera. Select the camera and as key you can increase this. Effect and give the object mode and give the 0 and increase the camera length and give the G and move the camera to somewhere like this. It is looking good. You can observe like this. You can render the object. I'm pressing on the 0. You can observe the and go into the view and give the viewport render image. You can see like this. You can save the object. Before that, what to do, I will show you of these effects 1 and 2. And you can observe by rendering it will not appear any of the cursors or 3D cursors or the lines. Then after, by using the Eevee render, go to the Eevee and the ambient occlusion and the bloom effect, and we'll give the depth of the field. You can also motion blur and screen space reflections and give the shadows to 5 give the shadow effect and give the simplify, and can use the freestyle and the grease pencil and the shadow effect, and give the 512 to 2048 px of cube size. You can observe the effect is looking good. And go into the Eevee, give the render to 64 and the viewport is 16. It will render on this fast way. You can observe the view and the viewport render image. On the Eevee settings I rendered, you can observe it is like this. And go into the image and the save or save as you wish. You can give the save the image file. On the different views you can give the different images like this. That's it for this tutorial. In this tutorial we covered the rocks and the grass effects and the water effect and one of the Shiva Lingam and some of the modeling also, and I will see you in the next tutorial.